So welcome guys to another session. Today we're gonna be looking at a self-accountability process and how to hold yourself accountable. This is a really powerful topic, and this is something that I learned from the man circle that I go to. I've been going to a man circle for the last probably 3-4 years, almost 3 years I would say. And when we do the man circle, we always follow specific steps. And one of the steps is a self-accountability round. It's called self-accountability round. And in that round, we have the opportunity to do this process if we want to. And because what we are trying to do here so many times, it involves practice, it involves repetition, it involves us taking action, right? So many times our patterns, so many times we will choose not to do something that we know is going to be beneficial because we don't find the time, or we find excuses, or it is uncomfortable, or we need support and we don't ask for it, or we are trying to create a new habit and it's normal to go back to the old patterns unconsciously. And so this process is a really beautiful way to learn how to take responsibility for what we do, and to really discover what's happening. Why am I out of integrity with myself or with another person? What am I choosing to do instead? And what are the patterns that are running that behavior, right? And what can I learn from this? What can I own, and what can I change and transform from this place of awareness? What can I do to come back into integrity, to move forward in a more aligned way with myself and with others? Because this process can apply to yourself, and this process can apply with you and another person, or with you and a group. Okay, so yeah, so let's just transition into the session with a couple of deep breaths. I invite you to get comfortable. Just take a couple of deep breaths. And I invite you all to, if you want, close your eyes if you can, and maybe scan your life and find an area of life, or find an activity that you want to do, a chore, a task. Try to reflect about places that maybe you feel out of integrity with yourself. Maybe you promise yourself that you will do something, but yet it's not happening. Maybe you are procrastinating. Maybe you are afraid of taking action. Maybe you told something to someone and you didn't keep your word. Or maybe they are still waiting for you to do that task for them. Or maybe it's a new habit that you are trying to incorporate in your life, and you just don't seem to find the time, but you feel it's really important. And then you feel out of integrity. You feel like I could do better. I can do something different. I want to do something different here. And always, I invite you to look at these things always from a place of curiosity, compassion, acceptance if you can. And if you can't right now, it's fine, but at least you are aware of it. And the intention behind this exercise, it is not to put yourself down. It is not to engage in self-criticism. It is just to become aware of why this is happening, and then from this place make a conscious and intentional decision, a new decision. Is the decision to let it go and be okay with it and feel complete? Is the decision to take a different kind of action? Is the decision to apologize to someone or to yourself? Is the decision to explore different ways of approaching that specific situation or task? Just find something that you resonate with, that you feel like, I could do something different here. Yeah, I feel kind of out of accountability with myself or with another person here. And if you feel inspired to share in the chat, feel free to do so. Hi Christina, Isadora says, computer work is always so challenging for me. What can I do to overcome technophobia? That's a good one. Hi Kathy, you are not late, you are at a perfect time. Yeah, so this is, if you guys can think of something and I can share something. In my case, for example, what's present for me right now is I feel out of integrity with myself when it comes to my business. Yeah, I feel I am not showing at 100%. Part of that is because I want to make changes in the way I show my offerings, in the way I organize my courses in my website. I want to create a membership that one price includes everything that I offer and weekly calls with me on a group setting. And I want to set that up, and I kind of have the idea in my mind on how I want that to look like. And the weeks keep passing and passing and passing and passing, and I don't take action. And I am always finding excuses of why I'm not doing it. And part of that I'm discovering is fear. It's fear of, because I tried in the past and it didn't work the way I wanted to. So part of that fear is, it's not gonna work out. Why would I try again if it's not gonna work out? So that is part of the inner voice that I keep getting, right? And that makes me feel out of integrity because I am letting that inner voice control me and control the way I show up. So that is one area that I feel out of alignment with, out of integrity. And this is something that I am going to bring to my men's circle, and I am going to ask for support. I'm going to ask them to keep me accountable to doing tasks, because otherwise I will just stay with myself and I will not do anything. And part of me also feels that I need to relax, that things don't happen fast. And part of the process, I know it's me learning how to be okay not doing, how to be okay letting things just be, and letting go. So it's kind of like a halfway for me. I feel out of integrity, but at the same time, I know that this is the place I need to be in now. But it's kind of interesting. So there is something to explore for me there, for sure. So this is just one example of my own life. What would you do to organize that flat and the time more intuitively? Thanks for your wonderful thoughts. So hi from Monique to all of you. What would you do to organize the flat and the time more intuitively? Well, those are two really broad questions. Lydia, you have my sister's name, by the way. A beautiful name. So today, Lydia, we are gonna cover a self-accountability process, okay? That is going to help you guys stay accountable to yourself, hold yourself accountable to the things that you want to be doing. And I am going to share the structure of it. And I was trying to invite you guys to connect with something in your life where you feel out of integrity with, where you feel like, there is something I need to do here, or I really want to do this thing, but I'm not doing it. There is a resistance, there is something on the way that is not letting me take the action that I want. And this is not someone else telling you what to do. This is you truly wanting to do something, to take action on something, but finding that you are not doing what you would like to do. So you feel out of integrity. You feel out of, you need to take responsibility for your actions, and you want to discover what's happening. and you want to take a different kind of action, or you want to become more aware, or you want to just be more conscious so that you can be more in alignment with yourself and with what you truly want to do. Okay, so that is the process. So Kathy says, I have a fear of failure because I cannot do things as well as I used to do. Beautiful, Kathy. So you have fear of failure. That kind of, I relate to that, because what I shared is kind of fear of failing, because you feel that you cannot do things as well as you used to do. Amazing. So I will invite you to, for this process, maybe be a bit more specific about what is the specific area or what is the specific activity or task that you would like to look at. Okay? And then I am going to share the structure so that you guys become familiar with it. And then if you guys want, after, we can just pick one example, one of you guys, and we can go through this process together. Sounds good? Isadora says, I feel frozen from doing computer work, yet I want to do it so much and it will give me so much relief. Any suggestions? Again, Isadora, computer work is really broad. What does it mean, computer work? What are you trying to do? Are you trying to create a blog? Are you trying to do social media? Are you trying to write a book? Are you trying to, like, what is it? Because I feel the same way, but when I sit in front of my computer, I have 1,000 things I could be doing. So I need to narrow down what is it that I am trying to do and what is it that I am out of alignment with, out of integrity with. And then that will help. So are you guys ready for the questions so that you can understand the process? Okay. And this process can be applied to yourself. So you can be out of integrity with yourself, or you can be out of integrity with someone else or with a group. Okay? So the first question is, who was your agreement with? Okay? So who was your agreement with? Was it with yourself, or was it with a person? Was it with your partner? So who was your agreement with? And then the second question is, what was your agreement? And you have to be concise and specific. In here, one of the things that we do that is really powerful is we don't want stories. We want the brief data, okay? Because it's very easy to get lost in story, get lost in emotions, but we just want the brief data so that we can keep moving. And this is an invitation for you to be brief, to be concise, and to use your words wisely, okay? So what was your agreement? The more specific, the better, okay? And then the next question is, did you keep your agreement? So did you keep your agreement or not? Most likely the answer will be no, because that's why you feel out of integrity, right? So the next one is, what did you choose to do instead? Or what did you choose to make more important? And again, brief data and no stories. So this is not about you rambling for half an hour about, it's you about, okay, I chose to do this instead, or I chose to make this thing more important. And at the end of the process, maybe it is more important and you realize that. And then you change the way you are approaching this. Maybe you change your priorities. And that will be a win already, okay? So again, we are asking these questions from a curiosity point of view so that we can understand what's happening, okay? So the next one is, what are the consequences on others? So what are the consequences of your actions on others? So what is the impact that you choosing to do the other task had on others? And what are the consequences on yourself? What is the impact of you choosing to do something else? What is the impact that has on you? What is the impact that it had on you? And I'm happy to share an example of something real that I went through in my men's circle before, a couple of weeks ago, okay? So once you share the impact on yourself and the impact on others, then you are going to answer, what is the shadow that you can own in this? When I say shadow, I mean the part of yourself that we deny, we repress, we avoid, we don't want to look at. And the shadow is normally the unconscious us, unconscious patterns, unconscious behaviors, unconscious belief systems that sometimes they run our lives. And sometimes we make decisions from that place. Sometimes the shadow can be fear. It can be something that we learned when we were little and we believe is true, and we approach the world with that belief. So this is an opportunity for you to really become aware. Like, what is the shadow? What is the part of me that is doing that? Okay? And then the next question is, what energy do you want to step into? Okay? So once you have identified the part of you that decided to make that more important, the part of you that decided not to do what you wanted to do and do something else instead. So what energy would you like to step into instead? And then you get to choose. I want to step into my leadership energy. I want to step into my honesty energy. I want to step into my clear communication energy. So you get to step into whatever energy feels good to you, okay? Instead of stepping in the energy that you made the decision from. And then how will you get back into integrity on this? How will you get back into integrity on this? And that's your opportunity to voice, to share, what are you going to do to go back into integrity, so that you feel in alignment. You feel like, okay, I am going to do this, and by doing this, I feel I am moving forward and I am back on my path. I am back on what I am choosing to do. And again, that can be, I am choosing not to make that a priority anymore because I realize it's not as important as I thought. Or maybe it's like, it is really important and I made excuses not to do it because I am afraid, but I am choosing to step into my courageous energy, and I am going to show up even though I am afraid, and I want to choose that. And from that place, you are going to make a different decision. You are going to take a different kind of action. And then after that, we normally ask, do you need support with this? And then you get to ask, what kind of support do you want? And you can do this with a friend, you can do this with a family member, you can do this with yourself. But when I talk about support, that can be a reminder in your calendar, that can be a visual post-it somewhere that you can see it, that can be you telling your best friend, saying, I need you to remind me, I need you to ask about this 2 days from now, or would you mind doing that for me? Or maybe you go to your partner, or maybe you go to your daughter or to your father. You know, you can find support in many different ways. And this is accountability, okay? This is accountability support. And then the last question is, are you complete on this? And then you get to own when you are complete and you feel that you got everything you needed from this process, okay? So that is the process. So funny with the name, last, the question of intuition, because often with a written plan, I do procrastination instead of the plan. Yeah. Shadow is a young shadow self, it sounds like. Yeah, Janet, the shadow concept comes from Jung for sure, and it refers to the parts of ourselves that are in the shadows that we don't see. They are in the dark, and we need to shine the light on them so that we can become aware of them. Okay, so what do you guys think about this process? What do you guys think about these questions? Is this something that will help you hold yourself accountable? Helps. Okay. So for me, for example, I can share a real example of something that I did with this process a couple of weeks ago. If you guys are interested, I can share a real example. Clarity is present with the questions. Yeah, they are really well designed to help you gain clarity. Can you repeat the question after energy? Yeah, so I can repeat all the questions quickly so that you guys like go through them. So who was your agreement with? Who was your agreement with? What was your agreement? Concise, no story, just the brief data. Did you keep your agreement? What did you choose to make more important? Or what did you choose to do instead of the agreement? What are the consequences on others of you not following through with your agreement? What are the consequences on yourself? So what is the impact of you choosing not to do that agreement? What is the impact on you? And what is the impact on others, if there is any impact on others? And again, this really helps you put things in perspective and really understand the impact of your actions and take responsibility, right? What is the shadow that you can own in this? Okay, so what is the part of yourself that decided to do that you maybe were not aware of or you were not conscious of? And many times when we are doing this process, we are going to discover things about ourselves that maybe we don't like that much, but they are there. And it's important to, because the sooner you become aware of them, the sooner you uncover a pattern, a belief system, something that you repeat unconsciously, the sooner you uncover that, the sooner you can start doing something to change it. Okay? And then what energy do you want to step into? So instead of allowing that shadow, that part of yourself, to make a decision that you don't like, what energy do you want to step into so that you can make a different decision? And then we normally try to like step into that energy. We normally stand up, we normally make a pose, we normally verbalize a sound, we do something somatic so that we can step into that energy, and it allows us to kind of like feel it. And then from that place, from that new place that you are choosing to step into, from that new energy that you are embodying, how will you get back into integrity on this? So what are you willing to do to get back into integrity? What feels good to you to do from this place? And then after that, do you need support? What is the support that you are going to put in place so that you take the action, that you don't forget, that you don't get derailed, that you don't procrastinate, that you don't allow resistance to show up and stop you? So what kind of support do you need? And then, are you complete on this? And that will be the last question. Because once you feel complete, then you are done with the process, because you have a specific outcome, you are going to take a specific action, you have uncovered something about yourself that maybe you didn't know, and you are requesting what you need from yourself or from others. Okay? So I think it helps. I am in a daunting career pivot right now and need to be more focused and on task. I appreciate this topic. Amazing, Darcy. That's really great. So helpful to work with the questions and your examples. Thanks so much. Yeah, you are welcome, Lydia. Yeah, so as I say, this is a process that I do in my men's circle. Every time we have a circle, we do this, and we have an opportunity to say if we are out of integrity or not. And it is a choice. No one is going to obligate you to do this process. But the last process that we did, I said I was out of integrity, and I wanted to look at something very concrete. I wanted to look at my wife, Samantha. She needs consent when I am going to give her a kiss, when I'm going to touch her, when I'm going to do something physically oriented, like she gets scared sometimes, she has some trauma from the past, and she needs consent to feel safe. And she's in process of healing now, but she requests consent for a lot of things, right? So part of me, sometimes I forget. And sometimes I maybe go into the kitchen and I go and hug her, and then she kind of like freaks out because she doesn't expect me to do that. And then she kind of says, but you didn't ask for consent, Emilio. So because it's so important for her right now, this consent, And I was, now I'm doing a way better job because I did this process, and I will explain how I got back into integrity. But I brought this to the circle because I wanted first to be seen. Second, I wanted to discover what's underneath me not asking for consent. Why is it so difficult? Why do I forget? And then when I went through this process, I realized that when I had to answer the question, like, what are you choosing to make more important? I realized, like, wow, instead of me honoring what Samantha needs, I am making more important what I want. And I am making more important what I want to get from her than what she needs. And that made me feel like, wow, that's a huge impact that I don't like. And that's me being needy. That's me wanting something and not even asking for it, just taking it and being kind of selfish and being like, um, so I didn't like that aspect of me. So what kind of energy does that? It's my needy energy. It's the energy that I feel I'm not loved, I'm not good enough, I need to get hugs, I need to get, and I will go and get it. I won't evoke it, I won't ask for it, I will just go and get it. So that really opened my eyes to the idea of like, wow, I need to step into a different kind of energy here. I need to really do something different, and I need to make this really a priority. So what I did, I said, how am I gonna get back into integrity? So I set a reminder on my calendar that every night I will ask Samantha, did I breach your consent today? Or was I respectful? Is there anything I did that you felt I didn't ask for consent? And I had to do that for 2 weeks. Every night I would ask her. And then for her, just the fact that I was doing that just created a lot of safety. And then she felt very special, and she realized, wow, you are really working hard at trying to like meet my needs and create safety and create what I need. And I really appreciate that. But also me asking that first, I had to ask it so I will remember more often. It's like, oh yeah, I have to ask for consent. I have to make sure that I don't take what I want when I want it without asking. And except for a couple of little details, everything else went pretty well. And those little details, I kept discovering things like, wow, why did I go unconscious there? What was running my mind when I did that? When I know that consent is so important. And I was uncovering a lot of neediness. Okay, and we did a talk last week about becoming a needy, and it is so related to that, right? You uncover things and you realize, wow, I need this, and I'm just taking things because I need them, but I am not taking into account what the other person needs or wants. So this is just one example of how this process looked like for me in real life, and this just happens a couple of weeks ago. So let me see the comments. Yeah, so this is a process I can apply to my situation. Amazing, Kathy, I'm happy. This is something that you can apply to pretty much anything in your life, really, if you are feeling out of integrity. Thank you for sharing and being willing to be vulnerable. You are welcome, Cami. Real examples are when you can see this process unfolding and when you can see how valuable it can be. You are not alone, Emilio. We all need to be aware of our behavior. I respect your awareness. Yeah, thank you, Becca. We are all on the journey of healing and discovering, right? And this process can be very, very helpful. So does any of you want to do this process? Does any of you would like to take a specific situation from your life that you would like to look at and then do this process together? You have an opportunity now to do that if you want. Oh yes, yes. So who is a volunteer? Amy says yes! Exclamation mark. Yeah. So I'm happy to guide you guys. One of you who wants to go? Who has something concrete, something specific that you feel out of integrity, that you want to hold yourself accountable to? And let's just do a real. Okay, Amy, I do. Okay, so are you willing to share? Are you willing to share? So, who was your agreement with, Amy? Let's just do Amy. Who was your agreement with? This can be yourself, this can be someone else. I keep saying, I am going to write this book, I tell Matthew. Okay, so your agreement is with yourself or with Matthew? So daily we commit to working on my art, myself. Okay, Amy, so yeah, just answer my question, but don't write any extra. Let's just do the process how it's supposed to be, okay? So who was your agreement with? With myself. Perfect. What was your agreement? You say, we commit to working on my art. I am going to write this book. So can you answer concretely, what was your agreement? Is it writing the book? Write daily 15 minutes. Beautiful. So your agreement with yourself was to write every day 15 minutes. Did you keep your agreement? Not daily. Okay? So what did you choose to make more important? What did you choose to do instead of writing 15 minutes a day? Cook and clean. Okay. So what are the consequences on others about this choice? So instead of writing for 15 minutes a day, you choose to cook and clean. So what are the consequences on others of this action, of this choice? What are the consequences on others? What is the impact on others of this choice? I sink into depression and Matthew has to hear it. And then what are the consequences on yourself? So you have answered. So I sink into depression. That is a consequence with yourself. And then Matthew has to hear it. So Matthew is impacted when you are depressed because you are not keeping your agreement with yourself. Okay? So what is the shadow that you can own on this? How can you take responsibility for these actions? Like, what is running the show here? What is making these decisions for you? I feel lack of purpose is more my consequence. Okay? So another consequence is that you feel a lack of purpose. And I can imagine how feeling a lack of purpose can have a huge impact in your mood and in the way you show up in other areas of your life. So it makes sense. Are there any other consequences or impacts that you want to share, Amy, on yourself or on others? And when we do this, guys, it's really important to be patient. It's really important to follow the questions the first times to become familiar, because it's very easy to get lost in details, get lost in emotions. And these questions are really well designed to guide you through what you need to go through to discover things. Okay? My physical symptoms increase. Okay? So you sink into depression, you feel a lack of purpose, your physical symptoms increase, and you know that there is a correlation with your health. Okay, so those are a lot of consequences, a lot of impacts of you choosing not to write 15 minutes daily. Okay, do you feel complete with the consequences, with the impacts, Amy? Or do you have more that you want to share? Complete, yes. Okay. Uh, so, Amy, What is the shadow that you can own on this? What is the responsibility that you can take? And what is the behavior? What is the energy or the pattern that is running this? So what part of yourself is choosing not to write 15 minutes a day? So you can approach this question from many angles, but what we are trying to get clear with is to really uncover what's causing that decision that you don't want. Okay? I am not clear. JE and Jeanette, I have seen your comments and I will answer them after, okay? Let's just finish the process with Amy, please. My traumatized little girl is afraid of owning her power. Okay. So you are making the decision of not writing 15 minutes a day from the place of that little girl that is traumatized and is afraid of stepping into her power. That is beautiful. That is a big awareness. So what energy do you want to step into, Amy? So now you know the energy, you know the part of yourself, your shadow, that made the decision of not writing for 15 minutes every day. You are aware of the impact and the consequences of that decision. What energy would you like to step into? Speaking my truth about some of the abuse that will be in my book, God Severely Punished. I want to step into my 53-year-old healthy creative woman. Beautiful. So you want to step into your 53-year-old healthy creative woman. Is that woman powerful, Amy? This is a question. So you want to step into your 53-year-old healthy and creative woman. Okay? I want you to feel that energy. Honestly, very much so. Okay, so you can add powerful to that sentence if you want to. I want to step into my 53-year-old healthy, creative, and powerful woman. And now I invite you to really breathe that energy. If you want to do a pose with your body, if you want to do like a Superman pose or whatever pose that helps you embody that kind of energy, I invite you to do it. And now we are getting into a little bit of somatic. Sometimes just talking is not going to get us there. We need to do something physical. Sometimes it's like doing this. Sometimes we need to scream. Sometimes we need to have a tantrum and stamp our feet. Sometimes we need to dance. Sometimes we need to like do a superwoman pose. Whatever you need, do something that helps you embody that energy. Sometimes it's putting your hand in your heart and really connecting with that healthy, creative, and powerful woman that you are. I want to step into my 53-year-old healthy and powerful woman. Yes, I feel such a difference standing, puffing my chest, and stomping. Yeah, sometimes like do whatever. It's not crazy. It's really helpful. Honestly, it is. So now, Amy, if you can feel that energy from that place, how will you get back into integrity? Okay? Let me reframe that question in a different way. How will that 53-year-old Amy that is healthy, that is creative, that is powerful, that wants to speak her truth, how is she going to show up every day to write the book? What are you going to do? What is that part of yourself going to do to get back into integrity? What is the clear action that you feel inspired to take to make sure that you honor what you want to do? set a timer, and have the affirmation clearly in my journal to say it out loud. Okay? So that is one way. Beautiful. I am not sure that will be enough. Amy, you are the only one who has the answers. I don't know if that's going to be enough. What's coming for me right now is what you are about to write. What is the impact of that in the world? How are you going to impact through that book other people's lives? Because connecting with that can be very powerful. So many times when I am stuck in my creative creation, what I do, I go to Insight Timer, I go to Skillshare, I go to my platforms, and I start reading the comments from people, the reviews. And when I start reading the impact of my content in other people's lives, it really motivates me to keep going and keep creating. So in your case, think about what you are about to write. How is that going to help other people when they read it? Because that's going to be something bigger than yourself. And maybe that can help. It's just an idea. I don't know if it's going to work. But you get to try whatever you need. But right now, what's happening, Amy, I'm sensing here is that the traumatized small Amy, okay, has more power than the 53-year-old Amy, okay? And until you don't energize the 53-year-old Amy more than that little traumatized girl, you are going to keep making choices from that little girl that is traumatized. And that's why it's so important to find a way to physically embody more energy so that you can be stronger than that pattern. Right now, you have been neglecting writing because you are afraid of failing, you are afraid of, you are traumatized, and you are in that fear. But you need to create more energy, create more momentum, and embody that powerful, creative, healthy woman, 53-year-old woman, and let her direct rather than letting the little girl direct. And let that 53-year-old woman, let her hold the little one. This is called inner child work. Visualize that 53 powerful woman holding the little one, asking the little one, what do you need to feel safe? What do you need to feel loved? What do you need to be able to write 50 minutes a day, to write about your truth? And let that 53-year-old woman, powerful, creative, healthy, help her. Yes, absolutely. Thank you. I want to help women heal from chronic illness. When doctors told me it was not possible, I was suicidal. I want to give hope and help them break the isolation. Amy, that is beautiful. So I want you to visualize those women that are where you were before, thinking about killing themselves. Think about them. What would they do if they had the option to read your book, to connect with you, to see your work? Maybe you even save their lives. So maybe that will help you gain that power and that motivation so that you can write 50 minutes a day. Again, it's very difficult for me to keep helping you because I don't see you. It's just so difficult. I just see what you write. But this is just an idea of how the places you can go to find that, the places you need to go to evoke that energy in you. Wow, this is exactly it. Yes, other testimonials saved my life. I did that with my health, but didn't apply to my creativity. Amazing. So maybe that is something that you can explore, right? Maybe that's something that when you explore that, notice how you feel. Like I'm feeling energy when I think about it, Amy. I just feel that little girl that is traumatized. I feel the Amy that is healthy, powerful, and creative. And I feel what she has to share. And I feel other people suffering but they can benefit from what you have to offer. And I see that relation, and I feel that, yeah, you can get powerful by thinking of them. And then it becomes not about you anymore, it's about them and what they need. And you can create something for them to help them. I don't know, it's just an idea. That sounds like a great book, Amy. Thank you, Lisa. I agree, you will be able to help so many people. Thank you, Emilio. I feel alive and in my power. I can work with this. Thank you so much. I feel complete. Amazing. Thank you so much, Amy, for sharing. Thank you so much for allowing us to do this live and doing this example. Yeah, thank you so much. So for those of you who arrived late, this is a self-accountability process that I learned from my men's group. Okay, I'm happy to share these questions. I can copy and paste them in my circle. My circle is called Your Thriving Lifestyle. Or you can also message me if you want, and I can copy and paste them in a message and send them to you. Okay. Emilio, thank you for helping her. That was amazing. You are most welcome, Tammy. It's my pleasure. Oh, damn, sorry I missed this one, Emilio. I bet it's a great chat. Will you post a recording? The recordings will be available in my website. You can find the recordings on my profile link, okay, on Inside Timer. Yeah, so this was one example of something very concrete, something very beautiful, right? And this is something that you can apply to any area of your life. I have seen this process so many times. I have done it myself so many times, and I have seen it done in other people so many times. And it's always so beautiful to see how people step back in their power. How normally we have a tendency to, we are doing something, but that we are not fully aware of. And then once we take ownership and say, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't know what the answer is, but I want to do something different. So once you make that choice, opportunities are going to show up. And this is one opportunity. This is one way of stepping back into what you want, rather than keep going unconsciously making choices that you don't really like and they are not aligned with you, because you are making those choices from a place of being wounded, from a place of feeling fear, from a place of being traumatized, from a place of childhood wound, and you are not really owning what you really want. And we talk about this concept of the self role that you create when you are little. When we were covering the book Adult Children of Emotionally Immature Parents, we were talking about how so many times when we are surrounded with emotionally immature parents or caregivers, we will end up creating a self role that is basically putting a mask and becoming someone that fits the family system, fits the dynamics that are happening, so that you can keep yourself safe, so that you can get attention, love, whatever you need, but it's not your true self anymore. And as we grow, we have the opportunity to start uncovering our true self. And this is one example of something that happened, right? Amy was on the self role of the little traumatized girl that couldn't write because she was afraid. She's afraid of expressing herself, right? But once she uncovers her true self and she realizes, no, I'm not that little girl anymore. I am a 53-year-old, powerful, creative, healthy woman, and I can do things differently. Then life is going to be completely different, because her actions are going to be completely different. But it takes time, right? And repetition to step into that new you. It's not going to happen overnight. That's why accountability is so important. And having someone keeping you accountable other than yourself is really important sometimes too. Emilio, I sense this process could be challenging and might take more time than today's example. Becca, it depends on what it is. Sometimes it's really quick. Sometimes it is very emotionally charged and it can go really deep. That's why the invitation was to be specific and concise. And so many people have the tendency of, how can I say this politely? I have seen so many people have the tendency to just verbal diarrhea, blah, 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 and they keep talking, but it's not concise. And the exercise is, you have to be concise. You have to tell me what's happening in one sentence. I don't allow like a 10-minute. So that's why sometimes it can be, but sometimes we are not there. Sometimes we are trying to discover and we may not have the clarity yet. And if that is the case, maybe this process is not for you yet. It depends on the topic. It depends on how you feel, and it depends on many factors too, okay? But yeah, sometimes it can be quick, sometimes it can be lengthy. But normally, I have never seen this process take more than 10 minutes, to be honest. Very few times has taken more than that. And again, it depends who is helping you lead it, of course. It's very powerful to do it with other people rather than doing it just with yourself, if possible, okay? Wow, very good to hear. What way is that? I just joined. Thank you so much, Rosemary, for your donation. I really, really appreciate it. The verbal expressing may need to happen in order to get to this accountability process. Yes and no, Becca. Sometimes the verbal expressing needs to happen, but sometimes the person is so lost in the story and they need to actually be taken to, no, just the data. Don't tell me the story. And we have to remind several times, you are in the story, the data, please. No story, data, please. Because so many times it's very easy to get lost in the story. It's very easy to get lost in the emotions. It's very easy to make assumptions. It's really easy to, but we just want the data. What is something that if there were 20 people here, they will all see the exact same way? And it's very important to get there, because sometimes you are gonna get lost in the data, in the story, sorry. And I see this often, very often. That's why it's so important to really stay to the data first. And then after, you can express, we can go as deep as you need. But first, the data is important. What's the data? I didn't write for 15 minutes a day. That is something that everybody can understand. If you start like, I feel this way, I feel that way, I don't know what happened, then it's very easy to get to the specific, right? Emilio, do you do one-on-one coaching on this too? Yeah, Amy, when I do one-on-ones, I use this to keep people accountable. I am an accountability coach, right? Accountability and integrity coach on different topics. And this is one of the recipes that I use, absolutely, because it works really well. And I use it with myself too. Emilio, what type of men's group do you attend? So Cami, the men's group that I attend is called the Mankind Project. And it's just a local group that exists here. It's just a free group that I join, and we just pay to rent a little space. And right now there are 12 of us in that group that we consistently go to. And I go every other week. And then there is another group that I can attend that is every other week. So if I wanted to, every week I can go. But yeah, it's there are different kinds, but the Mankind Project has men's groups around the world, and they are called integration group, I groups. An integration group means that you are trying to integrate concepts and teachings and learnings on a weekly or bi-weekly basis. That is the idea, that you can have support. Thank you, Amy, for your donation. Great name. Amazing, guys. As always, if you enjoyed the content, if you got value from this session and you can support me with a donation, I will really appreciate it. And if you guys have any questions, I am happy to answer them. Integration group, Mankind Men's Group. Yeah, Susan, it's Mankind. There are other groups. I have done a training from an association called Healing Circles also. And I know that they do have online circles about different topics, and it's a different format, but I love doing circles in general. what you bring to the circle, then it can be different depending on where you go to. But I like the idea of sitting on a circle, everybody's equal, we are all seeing each other, we speak one at a time, we hold space for each other, it's confidential, we don't fix, we don't interrupt, we don't give advice that is not solicited. Only when someone says, I would like your advice, then we will chip in, but if not, we don't give advice. So there are different rules, and every circle has a different agreements. Let's put it that way, agreements. In the I group, is there any prerequisite to join, such as the participant needs to have had a certain amount of therapy in the past? No, Becca. For example, in the groups that I am a part of, one of the groups is open and anyone can go. The other one has to be men who have done the weekend. The weekend is an adventure that is done through the Mankind Project, and then once you have done that weekend and you commit to attendance, basically I have to go to every circle every other week unless an emergency happens. Those are the requisites, the requirements for that specific group. But every group has different requirements. Okay, some of them are free, some of the groups you have to pay a fee. It depends where you are at. It can be different. How often do you meet with your men's group? Do the people in the group stay consistent? Yeah, Susan, as I say, one of the groups that I attend every other week, there are 12 of us, and we go there every single other week. So we are committed to attendance. That is a requirement. Unless if you are on vacation or something is happening, an emergency, of course, you cannot go. But if not, you have to go. That's the commitment that we do. So I go to that every other week. You answer my question, never mind. Amazing. Hope you are planning to facilitate a Zoom group for new men. Maybe, Becca. I'm working on my membership idea, as I say, and that will be run on Zoom, and that will be a combination of all the courses that I have, all the talks that Samantha and I have done and have recorded, all the recordings from Inside Timer, and also I will show up live at least once. And I think I would like to do, maybe 1 week will be a books club, the other week will be like a coaching group, the next week will be a topic, and the other week will be like a Q&A or something like that. So that's what I have in mind, but I don't know yet. I'm procrastinating doing that. Are your recordings free or require payment to rewatch? So Susan, my recordings right now are in my website and you have to pay a little fee. Some of them, I put them on Inside Timer or on my podcast, but not all of them, okay? And again, I'm working on how that's gonna work. But yeah, I need to pay to maintain the website. I need to pay to maintain the platform where I host the courses. I need to do all the setup to record. It takes time to process the recording, to upload it. So some of them, I put them for free, but some of them I need to charge because I need to cover my time. Because it's optional. Not all the teachers record their sessions. Do people just go to your website to sign up for a one-on-one? Yeah, you can go to my Inside Timer profile link. You can go there, Lisa, and you can see the options. You can see everything that I offer there. And I am weekly here on Inside Timer twice a week. And I do have a circle. But if you want extra support, I'm hoping that Inside Timer brings back what they used to offer before. They used to have mentoring and workshops, and I hope that they do that. They bring it back. But until then, I do offer them through my website. Okay, guys, thank you so much for your presence. Thank you for being here. I hope that you can use this accountability process in many areas of your life, and I hope to see you on Thursday if you can make it. Okay, well, we're gonna be covering another topic, another extra topic of the book of Adult Children of Emotionally Immature Parents. Okay, until then, I hope that you have an amazing rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one. Okay, adios.